after this day or after tomorrow, I'm going to have to prepare these meals again. And then going through that whole process of, just cooking your meal and making sure that you're topped up for meal prep can be kind of tedious, can be kind of annoying. And I'm aware of that because not only do I do it myself, my clients tell me sometimes as well. Right. So, in today's episode, what we're going to be talking about really is um, three simple, easy tips, hacks, if you want to call them that I use myself and that my best clients use to make meal prep a little bit easier on them mentally. And of course, to make it a whole lot more enjoyable in the long run. All right. So, without wasting any time, I'm going to get the title of today's episode on Instagram over here and pin that. So, we get some people in the mix knowing what we're talking about. All right. So, without wasting time, let's dive into it. So, the first tip that I want to bring to you guys and girls today, something to your attention, is when it comes to preserving your meals. And again, this is not even, I guess you could call this opinion based, but this is also like based off of my experience and the experience of like the clients that I've asked to do this and that I've done this. Using glass Tupperware over plastic Tupperware is better, like, period. Because not only is it going to be preserved better, like, there's a tighter, like, there's like an airtight seal to the food that you prepare, but you can also freeze it. And yes, you can freeze it if you use plastic bowls, plastic containers, things of that sort. But what I find is that, like, when you freeze it in plastic, because of like the lack of like the vacuum seal, it's not like actually like fully shut because it's plastic. It's like a plastic lid. The food tastes a little bit worse when you reheat it. So I find like the first hack or tip or whatever I'll give you guys and girls today when it comes to prepping your meals and actually making them enjoyable so you look forward to eating them is using glass Tupperware. So just essentially containers with glass, like glass containers, period. If you use plastic, it's not going to preserve as well. It's not going to hold the flavor as well. And if you don't use the freezer and you decide to use the fridge, it won't last nearly as long. Even if you were to compare using a glass container that was closed, shut tight, no oxygen inside, no moisture inside, versus a plastic one in the fridge, the glass one's going to last a whole lot longer. So the very first thing I would recommend you guys and girls to get, if you don't already have them for your meal prep kit, is to use glass Tupperware. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be, top of the line Pyrex or anything like that or Anchor, but like just get yourself some glass Tupperware. And believe me, your food will taste better because of the way that it is preserved. There's going to be less moisture entering or escaping from the bowl, right? And especially if you cook the meal immediately and then throw it into the glass Tupperware, it preserves as much flavor as possible. So, tip number one, guys and girls, use glass Tupperware. Tip number two, guys and girls, people. This one is one that I honestly learned late because I didn't actually get let's say, the equipment, the tools to utilize this tip until way later in my fitness journey. And again, you can be sort of in this position, but it's affordable now to sort of get yourself out of this problem. What I'm talking about is, and everyone's heard me say it before. Since I got one, I wouldn't shut up about it. I was always raving about it. The Instant Pot, guys and girls. The Instant Pot. Get yourself an Instant Pot. The reason why I'm telling you to get an Instant Pot, number one, if you hate spending fucking hours in the kitchen cooking the same freaking, like, to cook chicken, to cook fish, to cook whatever it is, like, if you hate just like being there, like taking the longest amount of time to get the food prepared, then it's not going to be in your best interest to, go into the kitchen and meal prep against that will and fight that will every single time. Because you're going to eventually one day give in and say, you know what? I'm just too tired to fucking cook today. I don't want to cook. Strongly, like, I really do recommend that you get an Instant Pot. And I mean, like, it's not even funny. Like, I was completely unaware of this until I got one. But when I got one, I realized, yeah, this is a game changer. Because all you got to do, honestly, wash it. For chicken breast, for me, I'd wash it. It's super quick. Wash your meat, cut it up, season it, throw it in there, press a button, and then disappear. As a matter of fact, you can cook other foods while that food's cooking too, right? And then you got your rice cooker going, so you can multitask the more appliances that you get. So instead of just saying for this one, get an Instant Pot, I recommend getting any, investing in any electrical device that you can use in the kitchen to cut time. Okay, rice cookers, instead of cooking it on the stove, Instant pot. To For me, I do my chicken breast there. So I can do my chicken breast and then have my fish in the oven and then do ground turkey on the stovetop at the same time. And within the same 30 minutes, I would have cooked three different types of protein sources while also having my rice cooked at the same time, which cuts up the cooking time so much that it doesn't really make me feel like, oh, I've got to cook and I've got to do this and that and wash this and what, and then like that sort of feeling of being pulled away from doing what I need to do for meal prep goes away because I make it that much easier for myself by investing in kitchen appliances that can help me expedite that job, right? Rice cookers, instant pot, and basically that'd be my main bread and butter. Rice cooker, instant pot, and then the air fryer I would recommend too. Again, I don't personally have one, so I'm not going to recommend it yet because I don't know, what really works best with that. But again, I can only assume that it would cut up the time that you would spend in the kitchen meal prepping, right? So electrical appliances is a must if you actually want to be consistent with meal prep because let's face it, doing everything old school and the rice on the stove top and all that stuff, it's time consuming. And if you want to make that commitment to your body to actually, get yourself in shape, you don't want to do that by contradicting your mind and saying, okay, well, my mind doesn't want to spend X amount of minutes or hours cooking these meals every single week. So again, you have to find that fair balance where you have the appliances to help you out, right? So that you can remain consistent and spend as little time possible doing that. All right. So tip number one was use glass Tupperware. It preserves your meals way better and helps it taste way better and last way longer. Right. Tip number two, invest in electrical appliances, instant pot, rice cooker, air fryer. Right. So you can not only multitask and save time while you are cooking and meal prepping, but you have the option and opportunity to prep a whole bunch of other different kinds of meals at the same time. One thing that you're going to eat for the rest of the week, right? Like for me, an example would be I'd put my chicken breast in the instant pot while I have the rice going. And then I would have my fish in the oven, my tilapia usually just baking. And at the same time, I'm cooking my ground turkey on the stovetop, and then I can have my water boiling for pasta if I'm gonna do pasta, and then freeze that later on, right? And then when the ground turkey's done, ground beef, boom. Like I could literally make 5 dishes within 45 minutes instead of 45 minutes for each dish, if that makes sense, right? And then measure them out, right? So, number one, glass Tupperware. Number two, electrical appliances will save you time and will make it easier for you to stay consistent with your meal prep. Number three, the final tip that I'll give you guys, girls, before I head out on this beautiful Tuesday is to use the freezer. I sort of kind of gave a hint at it towards the beginning of this live stream slash podcast, but I want you guys and girls to really use your freezer. Like you have it, you never use it though. You always put your meal prep in the fridge, which I mean, nothing wrong with it if you're going to eat it, shortly after you cook it. But if you are cooking large amounts, if you are cooking in bulk, which I actually do recommend because it'll save you time, if you use your freezer and you use glass Tupperware, you're in the clear, right? Because now you can really cheat time by having food that'll last a long time, that'll taste good. And another tip, another, I guess, nugget or hack that I'll drop here that I actually have in a YouTube video that I dropped. And if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that now. That's MATT space BUTALE, Matt Butale. Just search that in the YouTube bar, and then you'll see me come up, and you'll see the video that I'm talking about when it comes to meal prep, because I actually show you guys and girls how I meal prep. When there's always going to be a little bit of like remaining broth, I store that broth in like a glass jar, right? And or a mason jar, whatever you have there, and you can use that after you reheat your meals to rehydrate them. Because when you freeze your meals, even if you use glass Tupperware, especially rice can get dehydrated. So once you heat it up, you can use that broth to rehydrate the meal. And not only will it rehydrate it, give it the better texture and make it taste fresh, but the seasonings from the broth that you use with the chicken is going to make it taste a whole lot more juicy, flavorful, and enjoyable, thus keeping you more attached to your healthy ways. Here's the three tips. Let's run them through. Number one, glass Tupperware, excellent for preservation. Number two, invest in electrical appliances. And number three, use your damn freezer, people. And then if you want to call a little bonus nugget over there, use your chicken broth or whatever broth you get from cooking whatever you cook in your instant pot to help, revitalize that meal once you bring it out of the freezer and heat it up. All right. And that's another thing with the glass containers too. If you don't have a microwave, you can throw it in the oven. just double check and make sure that your Tupperware bowl is tempered. So typically will fare better in the oven. The other types of glass might just, but you heard it from me. All right, guys and girls, that's it. That's all. That's it. I'm gonna peace out. I appreciate y'all for joining today. I hope one of you, just one of you, take what I said today and listen to it, apply it, so that you can actually have a more streamlined meal prep experience and stick to the food that you need to be eating in order to succeed with your fitness journey. All right. See y'all again tomorrow, 5 times a week, Monday to Friday. You know what's up, people. We are out. Peace, guys.